It's becoming clearer to me that both men and women struggle with lust, desire, both in different ways. I'll explain. For men, the challenge is to resist the temptation of being a consumer of lust, seeking it out at every turn, not having the discipline to look the other way. For women, it's being a product of lust. You might not know what I mean by that. The challenge for women is to respect themselves enough to not go down the path of being a temptation of lust for others. Think of it like this. The challenge for men is to not objectify others, to see them as more than their physical appearance and body, to appreciate who they actually are as a person. Now, for women, the challenge is to not objectify themselves, to not dress provocatively just because they're seeking a little bit of external validation. Now that brings me to the topic of this video, validation. If I said to you, are you addicted to a drug? A decent amount of people would say, well, I'm not addicted to alcohol, not really addicted to weed, not addicted to cigarettes. I think I've got it all figured out. Now let's go a layer or two deeper into that. Are you addicted to validation? Are you addicted to getting others approval, attention? Does it make you feel better about yourself? Isn't that why we all post on Instagram? Isn't that why we're glued to our phones most of the day? You're trying to fill a void that you know cannot be filled in that way. I'd say that most people, men and women, they don't realize it, but validation is a drug to them. If you upload a YouTube video, isn't that why you're always checking to see how many views it has got? I do it. I catch myself doing that. Validation, someone who is truly comfortable with themselves, they don't need it. We are bombarded with all of these social media apps, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all the rest of them. I'm not even keeping up. I challenge you to develop a lifestyle where you do not have that knee-jerk reaction to always be on your phone. I see it everywhere. The moment anyone feels a little bit uncomfortable in a social setting, straight to the phone. If you have to walk 250 meters to get to your car, straight on the phone. A phone is an electronic device. Notice the word device. Device. It is a vice. I previously did a video which I titled The Tree of Vices, where I go into vices and how it is affecting your life. Notice how it is in the very name of what it is. The English language is very funny, isn't it? Device. Electronic device. It is intended to make you addicted to it. That's its purpose. Now it's on you to have the discipline in yourself to realize the trap and to hold yourself to a high enough standard to not get sucked down that path. I was at the gym today and I was on a machine, right? I was sitting I was sitting on a machine after my set. I was just chilling. I was just looking straight forward. And one of the workers at the gym, obviously dressed extremely provocatively with all of their tight pants and whatnot, that basically leave absolutely nothing to the imagination. And I mean, you might think that this was just a coincidence. You may be able to give a bit of plausible deniability here, but at this stage, I know too much to just shake it off. And basically, directly in my line of sight, about a meter in front of me, so she decides to bend over and basically just pretend that she's wiping down some surface. And she was there for like 10 seconds. And I didn't move to begin with. I was just like, okay, let's just... And then after like 5 seconds, I just got up and I just did a set on another machine. I don't know, it frustrates me. And it felt like it was intentional. And that is why I started the video by saying the challenge for women is to not be a product of lust. I think in that girl's mind, she wanted me to lust over her. You know, bending down in those super tight pants that show everything. Or else, why would you do that? And I suppose in her mind, she could just say, oh, well, I'm just doing my job. You know, plausible deniability. I can tell you right now that I respect a woman who doesn't objectify themselves. I do. I really do. In the same way that I respect a man who doesn't indulge in objectifying others. Both of us are guilty of the same crime. It's just two different forms of the same thing. If I can hold myself accountable for when I'm committing the crime, I think it gives me the right to then say, like, look, I think that this, it shouldn't be happening. But there's only so much you can do. Yeah, it just kind of frustrated me because I'm on a path where I am trying not to objectify others. It is hard. It is hard because it's in your nature to do that. And it is something that you must overcome in order to develop as a person. Everywhere you look, there's just girls dressed in barely anything. Everywhere you look, there's just bam, 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 temptation. Everyone is just trying to siphon your attention through lust. It kind of pisses me off, I must admit. However, if I was a person who was indulging in lust and objectifying others all of the time, it probably wouldn't piss me off. It would probably be like, oh gee, there's a lot of hot girls out today. Man, they're looking good. You know, I think that would be the mentality. That would be the mentality that someone would have if they were in that state. But I'm trying my very best to not do that because I understand why it's important. It comes back to the old adage that you must respect yourself enough in order to receive respect from others. It goes both ways, men and women. I challenge you all, the next time that you are thinking about dressing completely, very provocatively, just for the sake of, oh, I don't feel well today, so I'd like to get a couple of stairs at the gym. That would make me feel better. If that's the mentality, I have sympathy, I do. And I challenge you to try to overcome that and try to respect yourself enough to say, no, I deserve people to give me attention and validation based on merit of who I am, based on my bubbly personality, based on my people skills, based on my friendliness and receptiveness to others in conversation. I'd like that to be what I am all about. I don't want people to be giving me attention just because they think, oh, you know, like she's dressed really nice today. I challenge you. I hold myself to the same, I hold myself to a higher standard than I'm saying right now to you. Your life will change the moment that you become disciplined in the area of lust, men and women. If you're a man, cut out the adult material, cut out the lusting over girls. If you're a woman, cut out the provocative Instagram photos, cut out dressing in those super tight pants, you know, like just because you feel like doing something in terms of fitness, you know, it's almost become a trend. Any excuse to put them on. Hold yourself to a high enough standard to not put up with that shit anymore. Take care.